Draxiger floated in space like a dying star that refused to admit it was already dead. The planet glowed with a sick, dirty light pollution, rising into the sky like dark prayers. Anyone looking from far away might think the lights were cities or celebrations, but there were no celebrations on Draxiger, only chains, only work, only the silence of the beaten. From orbit, huge towers and workyards looked neat and organized, almost beautiful. Conveyor lines shimmered like rivers of silver. Vast metal rings surrounded brutal factories, glowing with constant activity, but sensors told the real story. The air was poison. The ground was cracked and burned. On every inch of this world, slaves labored under electric pain grids and orders pushed into their brains by implants they never asked for. Billions of hopeless thoughts rose into the air like smoke. Into this gloom, a ship drifted silently. It did not shine with power. It did not carry a proud flag. It pretended to be a boring cargo hauler, one more forgettable vessel among thousands. Its hull radiated nothing interesting. Its numbers identified it as a shipment of rocks no one cared about. Inside, everyone cared very much. This was the HSS Resolute Chiron, a Solaris Navy warship in disguise. Her armor was hidden beneath a false layer. Her weapons slept, waiting for the moment to wake. The ship moved with the patience of a predator stalking wounded prey. On the bridge, Admiral Jarek Stroud stood tall, one hand resting on a railing worn smooth by years of use. His face did not show anger or fear. It was calm, almost cold. But inside his heart, something burned bright. He had visited many worlds, like Draxiger. He had seen what the slavers did. He had met the survivors who could no longer sleep inside buildings because four walls felt too much like a cage. He had sworn never to forget. Now he was here to make sure the slavers would never forget either. His voice was steady when he spoke, maintained a disguise, no hint of what we are. No one questioned him. The crew trusted that voice. They had followed it through battles where the stars themselves seemed to fall apart. They knew Stroud never turned away from those in chains. The ship's AI, named Galliard, answered with a calm, smart tone. Enemy sensors still believe we are a slow, boring rock shipment. They are not wrong about boring. Rocks are dull. A few tired smiles broke through the tension on the bridge. Stroud's second-in-command, Commander Tolan Bryce, stood beside him. Bryce was solid muscle and rough edge as a man built for direct action, but he was quiet now, reading displays that tracked hidden Solaris forces waiting nearby. Our strike groups are ready. They're holding just outside detection range. The countdown lived in every heartbeat. The planet below was full of people who did not know hope existed. People who had not heard laughter in years. People who were taught that their only value was how long they could work before collapsing. Stroud would not leave them there. A young analyst named Sidamanda watched the screens with sharp eyes. She worked not with guns, but with secrets, with stolen data, with the hidden weaknesses in the slaver empire's control systems. Her hands hovered above a display full of encrypted symbols she could almost taste. In her mind, war was not only fought with explosions, but with information. And today, both would matter. Let them think we are harmless, Stroud murmured quietly. Let them think slavery is safe. Below, under metal ceilings and choking air, thousands of slaves shuffled through their routines. Every movement forced by fear of pain, every thought monitored, every dream crushed before it could form. None of them expected rescue. None of them knew rescue was already falling from the sky. Solaris Marine units sat inside disguised drop pods that looked like simple ore containers. The most fearless among them was Sergeant Juno Merrick. She tightened her straps and closed her eyes for just a moment. Her grandparents had died on a world like this. She never knew them, but she had heard the stories. She had promised herself she would never let that history repeat. Her pod rattled as clamps released. She felt her stomach lift as she dropped toward the planet. This was justice in free fall. The ship drew closer to its target. Its engines burned cold, leaving false readings and fake data trails behind. Every move was calculated to avoid suspicion. Every breath on the bridge felt like the moment before lightning strikes. Galliard updated them with quiet confidence. Traffic control has filed us as a cargo convoy. Still no questions. They don't see us. They don't want to see us. Good. Blind arrogance was the enemy's favorite mistake. Stroud leaned forward slightly, watching the displays where the planet grew larger and larger with each passing second. The room around him was silent, except for the soft hum of machines and the faint breath of anxious soldiers. Even air filters seemed to whisper more quietly before battle. 13 minutes until strike range, then 12, then 11. Every number was a beat of a drum leading toward freedom or fire. Stroud pictured the faces of the people below. The ones who had forgotten their names. The ones who believed pain was normal. The ones who stared at the floor because looking up was punished. He would teach them to lift their heads again. The Admiral turned slightly and looked at his crew, his family of fighters. No matter what comes next, we leave nothing behind. Not one soul we can save. No one argued. Across the bridge, screens reflected in determined eyes. Cases, tightened gloves, adjusted headsets, steadied their hands. Every person on this ship had a reason to hate slavery. For every person believed today mattered. Chiron glided into position like a shadow, preparing to become lightning. Quiet for now, but the quiet was nearly over. Draxler had slept too long under a nightmare. It was time to wake it up.